What is the concept? Who is the cast? Where do we start? How do we leave? Where do we go? How do we lose? And where do we end up? With just these 7 questions in mind, I, Aloney, along with my friend Scott, will create a story as fast as we can. Enjoy the mess. Try not to cancel us. We're good boys. Alright, we've done our bullshit of trying to figure out what to do and catching up and then chit-chatting about movies and shit. Now's the part where I just cut all of this and just start right here. Okay, I need an adjective from you.
Dutiful.
Dutiful. Shit, that's a little... Okay. I have the word son in my mind. Dutiful son. Duty. Soldier. Have we done like a war movie? We should do a war movie.
I guess not. Yeah.
We could do like an American Sniper type jam. You know what my first thought was?
What?
Space war. Jesus Christ, we have like a disease where we like have to do these fucking space sci-fi. Let's do soldiers. Okay, space soldier? Fuck.
Future's compelling though.
Yeah, it is, man. I was thinking about that movie we tried to write before we did the podcast, the one that basically inspired it, and we never finished that. I think that also was space fantasy.
Probably.
Yeah, because you made the mentor like a space wizard. It was like post-apocalyptic wizard man.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And at the same time, I was writing fucking gay Zorro. So, I feel like we haven't changed our writing at all.
Not really. I don't know.
I'm trying to figure out what the opposite of what we would normally write is.
I don't know.
So we can do that.
Fantasy romance?
Fantasy romance. Is that the opposite, though? Because I'm always throwing in fantasy.
Okay, we're not fantasy, but, you know.
It is definitely romance. If we're not going to do gritty drama, we already kind of like horror. Our whole vibe is like horror, action, adventure. Horror, action, adventure. That's kind of the vibe. And it's always like sci-fi or fantasy. So what's the opposite of sci-fi and fantasy?
Time period, romance, I don't know.
Yeah, but that's still like piratey. Like what?
I never said piratey.
I know, but I always say piratey is what I'm saying. Like time, like period piece romance. What period could we do? Caveman romance.
Sure. Okay.
I mean, what I don't know. I'm like, what time period is not related to what we usually do? And I'm like, cavemen? Because like any other time period is like, is there any other time period other than fantasy or future? There's fantasy, future, and now, right? Like what else is there? Like you get really specific, but anytime you get any specific, it's just gonna end up being the same thing. Like 1930s is what we did last time, so that's like gangster time.
Right.
But then everything else just like all to me it all just kind of blends together.
Yeah. Let's see.
Roman romance.
There you go.
I mean, I just wrote Hades on the other one, like the Hades prequel. I wrote that. So what if we did like a gay 300?
You mean 300?
Yeah, that's what I mean. 303.
All right.
You want to write? That would get views. 303. What battle could we do? Because 302 wasn't good.
Right.
Did you know there was a 302?
Right, or it was like a midquel or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it was like an alternate battle.
Yeah.
It was 300 Battle of the Ocean or some shit.
Right.
It's 300 in the sky. I don't know. You pitch something.
Well,
I'm always the one that's like throwing shit out and then you're just like yes or no.
Right.
Now it's my turn to say yes or no.
Yeah. Okay. Conquest of Constantinople romance.
What is the conquest of Constantinople?
The Ottoman Turks conquered Constantinople in like 1491. Someone double check that. And yeah, completely changed the landscape. It was the fall of the Byzantine Empire.
For some reason, I had a weird thought about Dracula for a second.
Vlad the Impaler.
Yeah, Vlad the Impaler. Dracula.
Right.
A little bit in that, because that's sort of in the Ottoman Empire area, and like, you know, it's around that same time. and it just popped into my head. But you know what? You're right. You know what? Fuck it. Historical romance. What was it again?
Fall of Constantinople.
Fall of Constantinople. Did it become Istanbul after or before?
After.
Okay. So after the fall, is that when it became it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. So tell me about this historical moment, because I know nothing.
Yeah.
This is the opposite. You're right. You found it. The opposite of an adventure. All I had to do was give you the choice.
Right. Yeah. So Ottoman Turks were rising in power for, I don't know, hundreds of years at that point, and the Byzantine Empire had been crumbling pretty much to the point where it was just a city that they held. And so the Sultan at the time, I believe Mehmet, decided it would be a great achievement to conquer Constantinople. And yeah, city wasn't that wasn't that well populated, but it was, heavily fortified, big walls and a chain guarding their harbor. So it's just like, they couldn't really get into the sea. So the real trick was just getting into the city itself. And supposedly, what they did was they got the Janissaries, the elite guard, to carry their warships across Constantinople's on a peninsula. So there's a couple of peninsulas maybe. The thing I'm getting at is that there's the river, and there's a small land mass that you can cross to get into the harbor that way. So that's what they did. They brought their ships out of the water, took them over the peninsula, which is mountainous, and just walked them right over into the harbor, which is insane. Because when I say warships, I'm talking legitimate frigates.
So they carried giant ships over mountainous land bridges?
That's I'm not sure I'm doing a great job of describing the land they crossed, but that's what supposedly that's what happened, to the point where I'm kind of skeptical actually.
Was the land bridge just a small piece, like a sandbar, or was it a full-on thing?
This was above water, yeah.
Was there trees and shit on it?
Probably. Like I said, it was mountainous apparently.
Was it miles long?
I don't know if it was miles long, but it was just long enough that carrying these ships would not have been easy.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
So they just carry.
Yeah. Again, it's to a point where I'm curious if that's just almost like a myth that was
yeah, it's a 300 story, it's made up.
Yeah, kind of. Or I don't know if 300 was embellished. I don't know if 300 was really made up, but embellished to some degree, yes.
Well, yeah, 300 was a propaganda thing, and then
right.
Actually, the movie is based on a comic book.
Right.
That's based on the propaganda.
Right. Yeah, but
I've never heard this story at all.
Yeah, I mean, you can probably. I'm sure you're looking it up. That's what we're talking about.
No, not right this second. I'm just thinking. Wasn't the Byzantine Empire used to be Rome?
Right.
Ancient Rome.
Yeah.
It was splintered off. I remember that from the history of the entire world, I guess.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
That it used to be part, and then it broke off.
Right.
And it became its own thing.
Yeah.
So this is the true fall of Rome.
Yeah, pretty much.
This is what happened to the Holy Roman Empire. Mm-hmm. And where was this?
This is in Turkey, or modern day Turkey.
Okay. Is Turkey when you consider it Asia, or would you consider it Europe?
I suppose Asia, though it's kind of it is kind of at the crossroads.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting backdrop.
Mm-hmm.
How do you turn that into a romance?
Right.
What two people are falling in love, and how does it relate to this land bridge thing? So they dragged a bunch of boats across giant mountain regions, and then they conquered the whole city.
Yep.
And then renamed it Istanbul.
Mm-hmm.
Was there murder and fighting, or was it just they brought the ships and then they were yo, it's ours?
I'm sure a little bit of both. Probably was a little bit of fighting, but once they got their ships in, and they had cannons, it didn't take long, I'm sure.
So who was in charge at both sides?
Let's see.
Did you know this thing already and you just Googled it?
I knew about it. I played Assassin's Creed Revelations, and that's a game that focuses heavily on the Ottomans reign of Constantinople.
I never actually played Revelation. That's the one where I dipped out.
Right. Yeah. To be fair, like I don't know. I like the game, but yeah, like for a lot of people, it's very it's another Assassin's Creed.
Okay. Well, this is an interesting concept. Don't know how sellable it is, and my producer hat is telling me that this is not a great idea for an episode, but I take it as a challenge. Instead of going to space and fighting space wizards and fighting, the Techna Nama Wizard, we're gonna fucking talk about the Byzantine Empire's fall in the context of a romance. I gotta say, pretty big curveball for your first official pick.
Well, we wanted to pick something different.
Yeah, you're right. That is different. Okay. I guess I'll ask this. Well, this is an ultimate test. Yeah, if I was gonna make a season finale, this would be it. Okay, the ultimate test. Can my 7 questions hold up to anything? What is the concept? 2 people fall in love at the fall of the Byzantine Empire, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the concept.
Right.
Okay. Who is the cast?
Hmm.
Make up some characters. I don't know anything about this at all. You're the one in charge here. I'm just gonna ask the questions. Who are some characters? Who would exist in this city at this time? And is there like a caste system? Is there like a class thing? What's the deal with the way people live, the society in Byzantine? Is it just Rome? Is it just like the Roman society?
Hmm.
Or is it more of an Indian thing?
What?
Is it more of like an Asian, like India thing?
Like, you mean I'm not really thinking about like caste, class, or anything.
Well, I'm just saying, like, we need to understand how the society functions in order to make a relationship in it. Like, we need to know who the people are. Like,
Yeah.
who's there.
Yeah. My thought is, so we have the official story of like the Janissaries carrying the ships over into the harbor. My thought is we have a secret Janissary who's, fallen in love with a local a local Byzantine woman who he visits regularly through a secret passage, which may or may not turn into how they actually get into the city.
Okay. So your thing is like an allies type, like a spy versus spy. No, more like their people are. Is it like a Romeo and Juliet type, like?
Yeah, Romeo and Juliet, basically.
Like they're both on opposite sides of the battle or the war. It's a war, right?
It turns into a war. Yes. Yeah.
Is it the start of the war then?
Well, I'm not quite sure how it fits into a context of a war. I think it was more just like Mehmet saw that it was say he could take him, so he took it.
Okay, so and Mehmet is a sultan, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Mehmet the Conqueror, 1453. He's sitting on his throne and he looks at a map and he's like, I want to go there. I want to take that place. Like maybe there's some guy, he's like, oh, they're weak. They're currently blah, blah, blah. We can carry the boats across the thing. He's like, all right, let's do it. And then hundreds and hundreds of soldiers are like moving and like, oh, we're going to carry this thing. Big, strong man working for the bad guys. Are they the bad guys? Who would be considered the bad guys?
Oh,
I guess nobody's bad in this sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like how casual we were about like again, the whole like carrying the ships over the mountain, that's we can't just be like, oh yeah, they totally just planned that. Like, it's like, oh, and pick up some milk while doing that because like, no, that's like.
Well, wasn't it planned? It
wasn't
planned. It was on.
Sure, they planned it, but it was like after a few days into the battle, and they were just like, like, what can we do to turn the tide? We could try carrying the ships. That's kind of nuts, but we might be able to do it.
Okay, so they were already fighting and losing before the thing.
I don't know if they were really losing, but they were just looking for something to like, carry them over the edge. Again, I need to do a little bit more research, I suppose, but it's like, it's not like, yeah. And again, I like the idea of like, that can be, that's kind of what I'm getting at with the romance is like, this one Janissary found a secret passage in, and that could later lead into like, the ships, like that'd be like a big distraction maybe. And then like, like the
army goes through the path.
Right, yeah.
So you're saying there's a secret tunnel.
Pretty much, yeah. Yes.
Secret tunnel.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, two lovers who love one another. Yeah, that's I've now found my core for this story. We're doing the two lovers story from Avatar, but we're gonna do it in the context of the Byzantine Empire. Okay. So what was this guy? The guy who goes through the thing? What's he called?
Hmm?
What was the thing the dude called? You had a name for him, a thing with a J or something.
A J. What?
What was the thing? The people that do the boat. What are they
Oh,
called?
the Janissaries.
What's a janissary?
Uh,
Sounds like janitor.
Janissaries were basically the Ottomans' like elite soldiers.
So he's like an Ottoman knight.
Honestly, Ottoman Spartan seems applicable.
Okay, sexy Ottoman Spartan is sent on a mission to conquer this city. The battle's not going well, or they're at a stalemate.
Right.
And they need a new plan.
Yeah.
And he's sent to scout out the city. And then he finds this secret pathway that leads into the city through the mountains. A secret tunnel.
Actually, backstep. I just realized our Janissary will call him. Shoot, I'm trying to think of an appropriate name for him.
Where is he from exactly?
Well, I want to say he's like he was like born in Constantinople, and he had a childhood friend who he might have had a crush on, and then he moved away like to a local town, local village where he was recruited by the Janissaries, and then
Byzantine names, fantasy name generator. This website has every fucking name. I've been to this website 1,000 times. I use it for fucking riddles. How the fuck does it pop up for this? Okay. Isaac Zonaras.
Isaac, what?
Yep, that's the name. That's the name that popped up. Isaac Zonaras.
That doesn't what?
Okay, Meriteus Barnes, Hippopotades Ducas. The Byzantine Empire was an empire left after the fall of the Western Roman Empire. Despite the names assigned to them by historians, the Byzantines considered themselves to be Romans and to the Roman Empire, which is why part of the Byzantine Empire is also called the Eastern Roman Empire. Byzantines lived similarly to Romans of Western Roman Empire. They had Roman law, spoke Latin, and much of their culture and morals were the same, though they were altered by their Christian religion in the early 600s AD. They did replace Latin with Greek as a language, which is reflected in some of their names as well. Byzantine names are similar to the Romans, but many of their names are names of Roman saints and heraldic names instead. They still follow roughly the same naming convention, though, with most female names ending in A or IEA, and all Latin names at the time would fit Byzantines as well, though they later in time you have more in common with saint and Hellenic names become.
Okay.
And then there's a bunch of random names.
Okay. Yeah, sorry.
Mundus.
It was just the name Isaac threw me for a loop. Like, what?
Yeah. That's just the one I liked on the list. All the names are like Dominianus, Atalatinanais. And then I'm like, which one of these is readable? Oh, Isaac Zonaras. Like, memorable. Like, I could remember it.
Right.
Or Martyrius, Barnadus, Suda, Carelio.
Let's just start with.
Can't even say.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna keep hitting. Leonidas apparently popped up. Georgius. John, really? Narcissus, Vigilius, Quintus, Fontois. Fuck, these are hard to pronounce. Jesus Christ. Lucas. Lukas. Basil, Leo.
Yeah, okay.
Basil Lucanius. Basil Lucanius. What about that?
Okay, sure.
Or how about Leo Ptochoprodromus?
I like Basil.
Okay, Basil. Okay, should I get a different last name then?
We can just focus on the first name.
Okay. Okay, so Byzantine. I can't believe we're doing this. Byzantine Romance. Okay. Basil the what? What are they called again?
The Janissaries.
Basil the Janissary. That is our main character. All right. He grew up in Constantinople, and then he moved away.
Yep.
Separated from his love.
Yeah, it's very sad.
And then he did some kick-ass workouts, and he got the deep V, and he got the tough muscles, and he got buff and jacked, and then he got he got brought into the military.
Yeah.
All right.
That's actually something that's a little messed up about the Janissaries. They would basically recruit kids like so he would have actually been selected at a relatively young age, and then they would have trained him, educated him,
Okay, this is getting interesting. He's like a fucking Jedi up in here.
I guess.
Still had to bring Star Wars into it, Scott. Okay, he was forced into the Janissaries as a kid. Maybe that's why he left. Maybe he didn't move away. Maybe he got. Could you get forced into the Janissaries in the city or no?
I mean, they were conquering the city, so I don't. Well, then again, maybe we want to say it after the siege.
Well, I feel like the siege is the thing, right?
Yeah. So.
So like, let's not do that.
Yeah.
If we started it with the siege, then what's the conflict?
Right. Yeah. Keeping the peace, I guess.
Yeah, I mean the boat thing is cool. That's the whole reason we're doing this, right?
I guess.
Carry big boat, isn't that the whole thing?
Right.
Okay, so he lived in the city. He loved this girl as like a childhood friend.
Mm-hmm.
Got pulled away for some reason.
Yep. Well, his family moved. Later, he got recruited.
Why did they move?
They were Byzantines ran them out. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, like they were supposedly the guards accused them of selling like lower end goods or something. So it was just like, yeah, they were just thrown out basically.
Okay. He was separated from his love, his family was thrown out, and then he was forced into the Janissaries. Mm-hmm. Did the Janissaries like kill people and take the kids, or did they just take the kids off the street? Like what was the deal with taking the kids?
Yep. They just, look at the kids and be like, yeah, you look like you'd be a good Janissary. Why don't you come with us?
And then their parents would be like, no, and then what?
Supposedly the parents might be okay with it. I don't know. There was,
What if his parents sold him to the Janissaries? You think they'd be down for that?
Yeah, probably. Like Janissaries can be very respectable in society. Sometimes they become viziers.
Okay, then he was sold into the Janissaries. His parents sold him.
I'm not really sure you sell your kids into the Janissaries, though.
Okay, then never mind. That's what I asked before, and you were like, yeah, sure.
Well, no, like, like, it's just like, you weren't sold into the Janissaries. You were just, like, picked to become a Janissary.
Okay. He was chosen.
And the parents were just like, cool, yeah, sure.
Okay. Did he want to be a Janissary or not? Is he totally into it? Or was he like, no, I don't want to do this? So that's important to understand who he is as a person.
Right.
Is he down with the Janissaries, or is he against them?
I want to say he doesn't really know a lot about the Janissaries when they recruit him, but he comes to love it. He likes it.
Okay, so yeah, so he was like, hell yeah.
Right.
Okay. Loves it. Okay.
And of course,
trained.
Yeah, we have an awesome montage.
He grew up, got jacked, and then sent on the mission, returning to his childhood home.
Yes.
Okay. Was it shittier than when he left, or is it better than when he left, or is it the same?
It's shittier.
Okay, definitely. Is that a historical thing?
But like I said, I'm pretty sure memory serves, like Constantinople kind of was like not doing great in general, and yeah, just a case of things are not going well for the Byzantine Empire. Again, it's Byzantine Empire is basically just a city at this point.
Okay, is this a tragedy or a comedy?
Let's make it into more of a tragedy. So we could give our soldier, what do we call him? Basil,
yes.
Yeah, we could give him like a comic relief sidekick, sort of like a janissary who's sent with him to help survey the land.
Okay, I just meant in general, like between the traditional, like in the royal sense of.
Oh right, yeah.
Tragedy versus comedy, but yes, I do want a comic. You know what? Plucky comic relief. That's my jam. Now I feel like I got something to work with.
Sure.
I'm gonna find a funny name. Donus, Mundus, Cyril. Cyril sounds like a fuck around guy.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, Cyril, the lazy Janissary. I'm gonna make him sleepy. The sleepy Janissary.
All right.
I'm just coming up with like a title.
Sure.
Okay. All right. So who's the love? Who is this love interest? Who's this lady? What is she doing in the city? What's her job? What's her life? What happened after he left? Is her life just gone to complete shit? Is he like the saving hero, just knight in shining armor type deal? Or is she like the, yo, you can't be so uptight, I'm like a cool, letting loose, chaotic, like manic pixie dream girl up in the Byzantine Empire?
I do kind of like the idea of like this woman rising to power, sort of like out, not to the point where it's like they're confrontational, but like her status is actually improved in the city. Like,
Okay. What if she's okay? What is the military of the Byzantines? What is their military like?
all right, I'm not too sure about that. I don't know.
Are they just Roman?
I think they're basically
Is it just this? Is it just Romans? Like, do they just have the same commanders and whatnot?
as far as I'm aware. I don't like her being a commander though, if that's what you're getting at.
Well, I was just thinking of like what could she be? Like to spice up the romance, you know?
Right.
Is she like a spy?
No.
Do they have spies? I don't know shit.
Right. Yeah,
Normally, I know what we're talking about.
I'm not quite sure myself. But I don't know. I'm leaning towards like, not making her military.
Is she like a noble then?
Yeah.
Or is she just rich? Because those are different.
Yeah, in some cases that's different. In this case, yeah,
Or
noble.
did she marry into the family of richness, nobleness? Because if she was a noble before, then why does she now?
There's an
You know,
idea. Yeah, no, yeah, actually, that's a good idea. Have her marry into noble.
ooh, it's riskier.
Yes.
Adultery. Ooh, nom nom nom. Yum yum. There's some up in there.
Yes.
That's some hotness.
Yep.
Sexy soldier man from another country coming to destroy your city with his big boats. You know, sexy lady married.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
noble princess queen.
Right.
You know, badass soldier man. Unga bunga. Let's go. Caveman brain. Let's go.
Okay, my brain activate. But yeah,
Okay.
and yeah, she can be of the mindset of like she knows how bad the city's getting. Her husband could be completely oblivious, just drinking wine all day.
Okay. Yeah. Drunken. Okay. Is he a shitty husband?
Shitty as in unattentive, like not to the point of like, not like physically abusive.
Okay. Is he younger than her, older than her, same age?
Older.
All right. Did she just like marry an old guy?
Yeah, kind of.
Like she just married an old drunk
Right.
just for the money?
I mean, he married her.
Oh yeah, that's true. There's no like choice, right?
Probably. Yeah.
So some old guy just walked up to her and was like, "Yo, you want to marry me? I got money." And she was like, "Sure."
Yeah. We're probably, if we were pursuing this, we would probably develop that a little more, but yeah.
Okay. Well, for some reason, I thought of a beard. You know what a beard is?
Beard.
Yeah, so a beard is when a gay person marries a woman in order to cover, and she is his beard. She makes him more of a man. And I just thought of that when I thought of this old guy that she's married to. I was like, I kind of want him to be likable, to be honest. But then it kind of takes away from the romance, so maybe not.
Eh.
I don't know. It's an angle, you know. I'm just trying to come up with something interesting.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. That's.
I wonder what the Byzantine Empire thought of gay people. Did they think of it like the Romans did? Because I know how that works.
Yeah.
Which is basically, if you're a top, it's cool, but if you're a bottom, it's not. That's basically how they worked. It's really weird.
Weird.
It's like, it's okay to bang a dude as long as you're the one doing the banging. That's kind of the rule in Roman times. They weren't as progressive as people think.
Right.
But yeah. Okay, then whatever. We'll just have him be old guy who drinks then.
Sure.
Unattentive, old husband, plucky comic relief. What's this woman's name? Let's find out. Name generator, don't ruin me now. Irene, really? That's a name?
Interesting.
Ionia, Tetradia, Germania, Paula, Justina, Kyrito, Theodosia, Boblia?
Weird.
Boblia is a name. Basina and Basil.
Yeah, if you think so.
I
I would have been fine with Irene or Paula, honestly.
Xena, Flora. I want something. Serena.
Okay.
Serena seems good. Serena seems like a cool lady.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, streetwise hustler. You know, getting married to get up in the class. That's my description for her. Streetwise, hustler, married.
Heart of gold.
Heart of gold. So did she care about this old guy at all, or is it just a means to an end?
It's mostly means to an end.
So he just like drunkenly asked her to marry him, and she was like, "Yeah, sure."
Again, like, I suppose so. Or, well, you mentioned her as being street smart, so she would have positioned herself and, like, to, like, kind of woo this guy, but,
Yeah, okay. She made him think that it was his idea.
right.
He's like, I found the best lady in this whole city, in the entire Byzantine Empire. Will last 1,000 years. This empire, our relationship is as strong as this empire.
Yep.
It'll never end. Eternal. Romans for life.
Yep. Romans forever.
Rome never fell. We just left.
Haha.
And she'll never leave me. Haha. Meanwhile, guy's in the closet. He just snuck in earlier. Okay. She convinced him that it was his idea to get married. I really didn't expect to do this, I gotta say. Okay. I think that's the first 2 questions. Now we can get into the plot. Oh, wait. We need one more cast member. Who's the villain? Who the bad guy? Who's gonna screw him all over? Who's the cause of the tragedy? His commander? Like, he's being sent in to be... Are we still doing the scout thing?
Yeah, scouts.
He's a scout into the city. Like, they gave him a very important mission because he's a big deal. Because he flipped so many tires for them at the training ground. He's just so buff. He carried so many urns, whatever the equivalent of flipping tires is.
Right.
Wheels for the carriages. He flipped so many wheels for the carriages. Whatever. He worked out, and he's good. And they give him a mission, very important mission. Scout out the city. Find weaknesses for us to enter into the city. We will attack in 2 months. Find out what you can find out. Report back. Tell us what you got. If you don't report back, you're dead. Or whatever. Can you get, like, denounced? Is there, like a you're fired type deal with them?
I'm sure there is. I'm not familiar with how it works exactly.
Okay, well, fucking do your job or you're dead. Or fired or whatever. Report back here when you get the info. And he's got to sneak into the city, right?
Right.
So then he sneaks in. Maybe he doesn't go through the pathway. Maybe he finds that while he's in the city. Like, she shows him that path.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Like, that's their secret love nest.
Right.
Is like the secret tunnel through the mountains.
Right.
And he just goes through the city like a normal person.
Yeah. Incognito.
Yeah, I mean, if he's a scout, he just goes in on a fucking cart.
Right.
He's just returning home. That's why they put him in the city, because he used to live there. Yeah. He's got a cousin that lives there. That's who the plucky comic relief is.
Okay, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, Cyril, the sleepy cousin. There we go. So yeah, he's a scout. He's a spy. Hey, Basil or Basil. What is it? Basil. Basil. Hey, Basil. We heard that you used to live in this city. You have a cousin there. We would like you to scout out the city on a very important mission. Only you can do this, because we only have a couple of people that have family there that would make it seem like it's okay for them to enter in.
Right.
City's on high alert, but since you have family, you can get in. You can just say, "Oh, I'm seeing my cousin." Send them a letter, have them send one back. Hey, cousin, I'm coming. And like he's doing like a pen pal deal to like get in, and it's been like going for a while. He finally got the letter that's like, "Hey, you can come. I'm excited to see you." His cousin brings him in. He's hanging out. And that's when he gets introduced to Serena, the future love of his life. So who's the bad guy? The bad guy... Maybe the bad guy isn't one of his men, then. It would be one of the guards for the city, right?
Sure.
Traditional, boring Roman man. The brother of the sleepy husband. How about that?
All right.
It gives him more character, because he's just boring.
Right.
He doesn't even have a name. His name is Sleepy Husband.
Right. Yeah.
Or Unattentive Husband.
Yeah.
I didn't even remember his name.
Right.
And let's give him a name, by the way. Let's do that. Maybe he should be Isaac.
Sure.
Okay, Isaac, and then Alexius. Alexius, no. Dictator. Francio. No, I need a villain name. Maximus is a pretty villain name.
Yeah.
Or Dominicus. No, Maximus is great.
Yeah.
Traditional. Yeah, that works perfectly for, like, the guy who's like, I'm a Roman, and he's not. Like, they're not Romans anymore.
Right, yeah.
The guy who's like, yo, Rome, number one.
Yep.
We're never going to fall. He's the one who does the we're never going to fall joke. Your relationship is as solid as this country. All right. Maximus and Isaac. Maximus, the Roman commander. So basic. fucking played by fucking Gladiator. What's his name? Russell Crowe comes back, plays Maximus again, but this time he's in the Byzantine Empire and he's a wannabe.
Right.
But yeah, no, you get Hugh Jackman to play him because then it's like the knockoff Russell Crowe or the better Russell Crowe actually.
Right.
Okay, so Isaac and Maximus, they have a house. They're rich as fuck. Cyril brings his brother, his cousin, over to the party, and that's where he meets Serena. Okay, we got our villain. We got our hero. What's his mentor, his boss, the guy who's training him and the guy who shows up for the attack?
Yep, that'll be his general.
Let's actually look up Janissary ranks so that we can actually get that one right.
Sure.
Infantry, child levy, were circumcised and then converted to Islam.
Mm-hmm.
Incorporated into the armory, paid regularly, forbidden to marry before the age of 40. Oh yeah. Goddamn, Wikipedia is a goddamn gold mine. Ooh, man, he can't get married. He's too young. He's like 25. He can't be with her. It's against the rules, boyo. How is this working? How is this a good episode?
Oh.
Apparently, you know what? The 7 questions can do anything. We can write anything. Thank you for giving me this, for coming up with this. Janissary music. Oh, they love drums and they love trumpet. Interesting. Still looking for the fucking ranks, though. Ooh, equipment real quick. They have guns later, but sweet. This is the 1400s, right?
Yeah.
Damn it. 200 years away. Wait, what year is it?
Right before the conquest, so...
Please tell me it's like 4.
Not 1440.
What is it then?
Well, oh wait. 1453.
Yes, there's guns! There's guns! Listen to this. The initial period of formation, Janissaries were expert archers, but they began adopting firearms as soon as such became available during the 1440s.
There you go.
Bam. They became engineers and shit in the 1500s, but they used axes and whatever a kiji is. A killage. It's just the Turkish word for sword, and it's like a really weird bendy sword. Bendy sword and an axe. I'm just thinking what he has on him, so when we have him killing people, he has. But fuck yeah, there's guns, dude.
There you go.
Guns. And he's not allowed to be married until he's 40. Thank God I looked at the Wikipedia. Organization. Here we go. I'm just reading a really long thing. Okay. He's a frontier trooper. He's a Siamat. I can't pronounce. Beylik. That's the Sultan's bodyguard. Okay. Oh, they have a fucking commander, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're called Aga. AGA. Okay. We gotta find his boss's name, and then we have all the people. Boopity doop 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 boop. Virus? Virus is a name?
Huh.
I'm trying to find like a cool teacher name. Valens, Avianus, Florentinus, Principalis, Nice Taz, Marius, Jonas. Fuck, there's no good I'm your teacher names. Vitalius.
I'm looking at Emir.
Emir, there we go. That's a good one. Aga Emir or Emir Aga. That's his rank. Teacher and command. Okay. Now, all we gotta do, go into the plot. Good thing about the 7 questions is the first 2 take 2.5 fucking hours, and then the last 5 are 2 seconds. Alright, where do we start, Scott? In small town. In the city of Constantinople as children.
Mm-hmm.
They hang out. Serena and Cyril, his cousin, and Basil all hang out. They're all cool friends, hanging out, having a fun old time. City's starting to get shitty. His parents say, we're moving. He has to move away from this girl he likes. He has to say goodbye to his cousin. He leaves, moves to a small town, where he's given to the Janissaries. He's chosen from a lineup of kids at the school.
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever. There's no schools. But
right.
At the place where all the kids hang out. They're like, hey, you. And then they pick him. Joins the army. Kicks a bunch of ass. Swords. Fucking guns. Bows and arrows. Muscles. Flipping giant wheels for carriages. Riding horses. Using those big, long, bendy swords to cut down trees. It's raining. Now it's muddy. Now it's cold. Now it's hot. Shit's going on. Montage.
Yeah.
The first 10 minutes of the movie have almost concluded. The catalyst of the story. He becomes one of them. The main plot of the story. The inciting incident. His boss is like, yo, it's me, your buddy, Emir. I'm your commander. I'm in charge here. I've trained you. In the montage, I was the guy who was holding the meat. Remember me? Well, here I am, and it's time for you to go on a scouting mission, baby. Because you got a cousin in the city, and we need you to go check it out. So go to the city, find out their defenses, find out their weak points, find a way out of the city, come back to us, tell us what to do. Tell us how to get in. All right. Question number 2. How does he leave? So he goes into the city, sneaking through. You know, he's pretending to be a normal person, not wearing his armor, not bringing his weapons, just being a normal guy. You know, it's just me, Basil. I'm a normal dude. I'm a bro. Hangs out with his cousin Cyril, goes to the party, meets the girl, Serena. Now, what is the big moment of this movie? What does it all lead up to, Scott? Where do we go?
Right. Well, spends a bit of time in the city.
Yeah, we get the fun of him blending in and doing out recon missions and shit, sneaking around. Oh, maybe he has to get close to her because that guy, the villain, Maximus, he's the guy he needs to spy on.
Right.
So he's got to get close with Serena so he can get close with her husband, Isaac, so that he can get close to Maximus. And if he gets close to Maximus, then he can find the secrets. But as he starts to get close to them, he starts to fall for Serena.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he meets her because he's going to the party with his cousin so that he can meet with Isaac. And then he finds out that Isaac's wife is the love of his life, Serena, from his childhood.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh shit, the love of my life from my childhood. This is word for word from the script. The love of my life from my childhood is here. She is married to the man I must steal from. Oh no. Whatever shall I do, my cousin Cyril, who is a comedic relief? And then he goes, Baba Booey! And then everybody laughs.
Man, this script is turning out fantastic.
Yeah, it's writing itself, dude. So, I'm like a fucking wind-up toy, dude. Just give me enough, and then I'll just go.
Right.
Alright, so, alright, he needs to get the info from the guy. So, they start sleeping together, him and Serena, obviously. Start getting busy. They start looking at each other a lot. That's what happens in movies, right? They stare at each other in love stories, right?
Mm-hmm.
And staring is code for their banging when you're not looking.
Right.
It's like, oh, staring. I haven't got a lot of stares in real life, but apparently that's what leads to sex, Scott.
Ah.
So, they're staring at each other, getting steamy. Do they have, like, I know that the Greeks had, like, bathhouses. They have bathhouses. They have, like, saunas in the Byzantine Empire.
I'm sure they had them somewhere.
Okay. Well, they're getting steamy in the saunas. They're making out. They're having fun. They're cheating behind the guy's back. He's breaking his mission. He's not supposed to be married. You know, he wants to marry this girl one day. You know, he's not supposed to marry a woman before he's 40, let alone be having sex with her in a sauna behind her husband's back while he's doing a spy mission. That's not cool.
Yeah.
Then his boss shows up. He hasn't been reporting back on time. Maybe his boss actually gets into the city as like a second spy to give him like different orders, maybe. Yeah, Emir comes in and he's like, oh shit, you're here, boss? And he's like, hey, why haven't you gotten back to us? I came back to see if you're all right. I thought you were dead. You didn't report back on time. You blew your chance to come back. And also, oh, by the way, after they're banging in the sauna, they bang in this tunnel, and it's the secret tunnel through the mountains.
Sure, yeah.
And that's like the place where they fall in love. Mm-hmm. And then he shows up and he's like, hey, you didn't come. Like, he gets a choice to go back through the tunnel and reveal the info. Like, he gets what he needs as a spy, and he gives it up and decides to stay. And then his boss shows up and is like, yo, you're supposed to be outside right now telling us how to get in here. And I had to sneak in here to find you. Do you have what we need? I feel like, okay, we don't really need a big event. What we need to figure out is, how does he lose, Scott? What is the all is lost moment of this movie?
Yeah.
And how do we get the boats in here? Because that's what the people came for when they bought a ticket to see Byzantine Empire love romance period piece. All they wanted to do was see the big boats that were in the trailer. So how we get to the boat, Scott?
Well, save the boats for the climax.
I know, that's where we're
Yeah.
at. We're at the All is Lost in the climax. So
Yeah.
we need to figure out, because usually what'll happen is we'll do the where do they end up, and then we won't be able to figure it out. So then I jump to All is Lost, because that's usually how you figure out shit.
Right.
If anything, I should reorder the questions, because All is Lost should be before you do the big climax, because then you'll figure out the climax when you figure out All is Lost. Anyway, All is Lost. What happens? How did we lose? How is he failing?
Well,
He gets the secrets. They're on a scroll. He knows the tunnel. He's got the blueprints.
right. Well,
Did Maximus give him fake papers? Did Maximus shoot Serena in the spine, Joker style? What's the deal?
my thought is just, that
It's the last piece of the puzzle, man.
right. He needs to hurry up and leave because the assault's like gonna start properly tonight, or like the next, like in within the week, and so
Maybe he does actually go through with it, is what you're saying?
how
Like he actually, and they take over the city.
right, he tries to get her out before the assault really begins,
But she dies.
or
I mean, it's a tragedy.
oh yeah, my thought is that, like, she says no at first.
Yeah, he's trying to convince her to leave the whole
Yeah.
time. And then his boss shows up and is like, what the fuck? You were supposed to come back weeks ago.
Right.
The attack's coming. We need that information.
Right.
And he's like, hey, I got the info. And he tells him, like, hey, there's a tunnel. Here's the blueprints I got. And he's like, all right, you got to come back with me, though. And then he's like, I found some people. Can we get my cousin out, he says. And his boss is like, yeah, we can get your cousin out. Have him meet me at the tunnel at this time. And then he tells her, he's like, hey, Serena, I need you to leave your husband. I need you to give up your wealth. I need you to come with me. My cousin, you, I can get all of us out. My boss won't ask any questions.
Yes.
I'll tell him you're my cousin. I can get you out. Yeah, I'll tell him you're my cousin's wife, and we can get you out.
Right.
And she's like, no.
Yeah. I'm not leaving my home.
Yeah, I'm not leaving my home, or I want the money. What if she is gonna go with, and Maximus catches her?
Right.
Like she actually is gonna come with him.
Yeah, that could work.
He's like, meet me at the like he just tells me, he's like, meet me at the place we fell in love, at the tunnel. If you meet me at the tunnel, I can get you out with my cousin. I'll tell him that you're his wife. Blah blah blah. Right.
Blah blah blah. Yeah.
Then Maximus and the husband show up, and she's got to walk away, and he's got to leave. And then he waits there for her, and she doesn't show up.
Right. Or Maximus meets him there.
Ooh, Maximus shows up, throws him in prison.
Or fights.
Fight, yeah. I'm trying to find like a good final climactic ending,
Right. Yeah. Okay. Prison does work for that. Yeah.
Well, I'm just imagining, what is the coolest place to be when people are bringing in boats and blowing up the city? Where's the coolest spot in town? And I'm thinking in a prison cell overlooking the bay as explosions go off,
right,
as boats rise over the corner. Like the boat is a surprise at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
It's like his boss leaves and he's like, all right, I'll meet you with your cousin. And then the battle starts the next day and he's in prison. Like Maxim, he's waiting for her. He's like, oh my God, you're here. I didn't think you would actually show up. He turns the corner. It's fucking Maximus. Knocks him the fuck out. Throws him in a cage. He wakes up the next morning hearing horns in the distance and drums. And he's like, oh shit, it's the trumpets. It's the little triangle that it says on Wikipedia they had. Oh my God, they're coming. It's battle day. And my love, where is she? Oh no. And then he looks through the window and over the hill, cresting in the sunrise, 500 strong-ass men carrying a giant boat, and everyone in theater thinks, why wasn't the story about them? Boat shows up, fucking sails down like that scene in Pirates of the Caribbean where he's like sailing in Davy Jones' locker with all the crabs like down the mountainside.
Yeah.
It's like a boat. Like that's what he sees when he wakes up. He hears the horns, he looks out the window, and you just see a massive boat on a cliff. And it turns and it like sails down the mountain into the water.
Right.
And fires cannons. And that'll be the trailer. And then when people go to the movie, they'll be like, what the fuck is this love story? So, city's getting blown to all hell. Maximus is fighting off a bunch of dudes. She breaks him out of jail, I guess. Or the cousin breaks him out. Maybe the cousin should break him out so he can try to go save her because she's somewhere else.
Right. Yeah.
Is this a tragedy or is this a comedy? Does he save her at the end? Or is she dead?
tries to save her, but yeah.
And is it like a vengeance at the end? Like Maximus stabs her in the spine.
I don't know if Maximus, like, you know, again, I feel like Maximus and Basil would fight, but I don't know if, like, petty vengeance. I don't think that's in the cards, really.
Okay, so you think, well, how does it end? The last question is, where do we end up? So the battle has begun. The city is being taken. Maximus is obviously going to get killed by somebody,
Right.
because he represents the old Roman ideal, and Rome is about to fall for reals this time.
Mm-hmm.
So he gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
And if this is a tragedy, then either she or our hero are gonna die. So which one?
She dies.
She dies?
Yeah.
He holds her dying body in his arms, crying, like broken, and that's how the movie ends? Not even vengeance. Maximus dies before she dies?
Well, Basil kills Maximus. Yeah. Like, I'm envisioning to have an epic duel.
Okay. Then how does she die?
Cannon fire.
She's fucking cannon shot in the chest, and that's how the movie ends?
I never said that was...
Jesus Christ.
Well, I don't know. Or maybe we don't make it a tragedy then.
We could do a lot. We could do both endings right now. Let's do both endings. We got time.
All right.
Ending 1, gritty and dark. Or a couple. Let's each do 2 endings. Let's each write a happy ending and each write a sad ending.
Okay.
All right. You want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
Sure, I'll go first. So,
okay.
After a duel, sad ending. He rushes into her chambers, but it's collapsed due to cannon fire. He digs and digs and digs and eventually finds her, but she's gone. And there's a little epilogue about how there was a glorious victory for the Ottomans and how now the city of Constantinople is theirs. And he's standing amongst the soldiers, heads down. Well, his head is down. Everyone else is like, yeah, we did it. And he's somewhere else.
He's broken.
Yeah.
As they celebrate the day, the cost of war, she's gone.
Yes.
It's a good ending.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could top that. All right, my sad ending now.
Okay.
Well, now my stupid, like, pulpy sad ending is garbage, but I'll do my ridiculous one. I think your ending is probably going to win. I think that might be the end.
Right.
But here we go. Okay. He wakes up in the prison cell. The ship sails down. Battle's commencing. His cousin lets him out of the cell, and he escapes. His cousin came back for him. He didn't leave. The two of them are running out, and they see Maximus standing in a big row of people. And he... so she and Cyril both save him. They both show up at his cell. They're like, we got you. We could save you. We can get you out of here. And as he and Serena are talking, she's shot in the back. She dies in his arms. And he's filled with rage and anger. And he fucking... Final act is him chasing down through this epic battle of cannons, exploding walls, and people dying and slicing each other up. He runs up and he fucking stabs Maximus in the chest and falls off a cliff and dies. The end. Pulpy garbage ending. Your ending was better. You win on that one. I get to do a happy ending now to see if I can reclaim my honor.
Sure.
Happy ending. Cyril breaks him out of jail. Or a cannon explodes the wall or whatever. His boss is coming in, killing dudes one after another. And there's just like this epic battle going on. And he has a choice to make. He sees his troops fighting Maximus. And he sees the love of his life, Serena, in peril, in danger. And he has to make a quick choice. His duty or his love. And he races to the left towards the love of his life. And he grabs her and jumps out of the way as a cannon fucking explodes through the wall and was about to crush her ass. And he saved her. He looks up as he saved her life. His boss is standing there. Maximus stabs his boss, his trainer, his teacher in the back, killing his teacher. He had to save either his teacher or his love of his life. He saved the love of his life. His teacher dies. He's sad about it. But then he looks up and sees Maximus, and we get the whole vengeance thing I did before. And I really want a cannonball, since you mentioned it before. I want a cannonball to fly through the air and shoot Maximus in the chest, exploding his chest as he falls to the ground dead. He and her are together, happy ending.
Yep. There we go.
All right, what's your happy ending? Give me the real one.
Happy ending.
So he's in prison, and there's a ship, and the battle begins, and she's somewhere.
Right.
Maximus got her beforehand, so she's somewhere.
Right.
What happens?
Well, all right. So yeah, we continue with the cousin basically getting him out. Or maybe the cousin actually, I don't know. Sorry, I'm getting off tangent. Like, cousin gets him out. He rushes to her chambers again. That's where he finds Maxwell. Like, Maxwell's like hiding behind Maximus is hiding behind the door or something, and they have a neat little duel. That the cannon fire actually breaks a hole in the wall, so they like continue. Well, I don't.
They continue fighting as like the entire building is being destroyed around them.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah. And
all right. We're gonna rival that scene in Pirates when they blow up the ship and the guy's walking down the catwalk. It's that, but with a sword fight.
Yeah.
We're gonna top it.
Yeah. They're like going, like fighting through the hall. Yeah, the cannon fire's going off. And
okay, so they keep fighting. Then what?
And the cannonball like fires and like shoots someone's sword out of their hand. I'm leaning towards it being Basil's sword.
Okay, yeah.
And the fights progress to the point where like they actually reach where Maximus is.
It's like a fist fight.
Sort of. Well.
Sorry, I trailed you. What did you say? Maximus is what?
Like reaches the point where they actually end up where Maximus is, I want to say, keeping Serena, like she's not chained up or anything. It's just like, thought it would be a nice safe place. Like it might be, say, I don't know, like in the war room or something.
Okay. Yeah, in like the bunker.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
they're in like the fort stronghold.
Right. Yeah. And it, yeah, I guess to a point where like, and perhaps just before that, like that's when the cannonball comes in, knocks the sword out of his hand, and so Maximus thinks he has the advantage. So he moves in for the kill. Long live the Byzantine Empire, he says heroically, believing he's won.
It will never be destroyed. Yeah, it'll never be destroyed.
Yeah. Never, ever, 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 ever.
Holy Roman Empire, 100%.
Hashtag Roman for life.
Yeah.
He says all those things, and then
yes, exactly, verbatim.
And then plot twist: Serena stabs him in the back.
Oh yeah. Okay, good. I knew that was coming. Somebody got to get stabbed in the back secretly as a reveal. Like, come on, I brought that up. That has to happen.
Yeah.
Okay, he gets stabbed in the back. She kills him.
Yep.
He falls down to the ground. The two of them grab each other in a loving embrace, making out as explosions go across the entire building, destroying everything around them, but they survive.
Yep.
Cut to the cousin and his boss are both killing dudes together, like badass. Like the cousin has become a badass warrior out of nowhere.
Right, yeah.
And he's like shouting, covered in blood. He's like, "Whoa, yeah!" He's like hitting dudes with an axe, like a double-sided axe.
I like the idea of him actually using a rifle, but using using it more like a bat, actually.
Oh yeah, beating dudes with a rifle just continuously. He invents the bayonet. But yeah, so he's doing all that.
Yeah.
The boss shows up. Boss is still okay too.
Right.
They conquer the city. They all scream in happiness. They kiss. I now pronounce you man and wife.
No,
I'm kidding.
Yeah. Or actually, kind of leaning into the whole like Janissaries can't marry, like, at that point, like
until they're 40.
Yeah. Like the boss like sees them, like, and he's just like gives them a nod, just like, all right, you do you, man. You do you.
Yeah. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
We took the fucking city. Who cares? Do what you want.
Right. Yeah.
I'm the boss here.
Yeah.
I make the rules.
Yeah. And if anyone asks...
It's a dumb rule.
If anyone asks, like, Basil, he just says, like, oh, yeah, Basil was killed in battle. It's a real shame.
Oh, yeah, that's what we'll do. That's how it ends. It goes with the two of them kissing. An explosion goes off. And then the boss is talking to the commander in charge. And they're like, all right, who died? How many soldiers? How many scouts did we get out, or whatever? Did you find Basil?
Right.
Because he went to the city, right? He's like, did you find Basil? And he's like,
nah.
I got the information, but
he didn't make it.
Basil died. He didn't make it. And then he kind of nods and smiles like the end of fucking Batman.
Right.
Where Alfred's at the thing. We get the nod at the distance.
Right.
Yeah, it's Michael Caine the whole time. It was Michael Caine.
Oh my god.
Michael Caine as Emir. I don't think that works. But yeah, Emir says, every day, Master Basil, I come to this coffee shop and I watch. Every single day I go to France and watch in this coffee shop. Every single day.
Right.
And then he looks at him and he's like, how did you know I'd go to the coffee shop again? What if I just don't go to that coffee shop? He's like, well, then I'd be here the rest of my life.
Yep.
Master Basil. So yeah, that's great. He says, hey, what happened to the scout? And what did you find him? And he said he died.
Right. Yeah.
He's gone.
And then, of course, showed them living out in the countryside, living a happy life. The end.
Yeah. And then cut to post-credit. Fucking Cyril is just like axing dudes, and he's one of them now.
Oh yeah.
Or no, he's beating people with the gun.
Right.
The beating people with the gun is probably earlier, but I just think it's funny to fucking
right
smash cut to.
Right.
But yeah, Roman Empire defeated finally after all this time. And on the poster it says, what are we calling this? We're gonna call it Byzantine Romance, right?
Yeah. All right, that will do.
Okay. Byzantine Romance. This time, it's personal. No, Byzantine Romance. Rome finally falls. There's my tagline. I don't know. You got a better name?
All Byzantine. Yeah, that works. Yeah.
Yeah. Byzantine Romance. The tagline is Rome finally falls, or love blooms on a Roman falling battlefield.
Love rises. Rome. Yep.
Falls. Oh, that's so good.
Yep.
You got it. Oh, you're the hero of this episode, dude.
Yay.
Oh my god. God damn, dude. Good job. Yeah. Byzantine love story. Love rises, Rome falls. Damn. That's a good movie.
Yeah.
Historical, educational, interesting, original, sexy, exciting. Dude, if I went to that, just imagine you're walking out of the theater and you're like, hey, did you see Byzantine Romance? He's like, what the fuck is that? That sounds stupid. And he's like, dude, a guy got exploded by a cannon. A man beat a dude to death with a rifle. A boat sailed down a mountain. A man's head exploded. A guy got a sword out. He pulled out the sword. He's going to save the love of his life. The sword got shot with a cannonball out of its fucking hand. And then he punched him in the face. And they fought on a mountaintop while a city exploded. It was awesome. And then somebody else is like, yeah, I didn't know all that stuff about Byzantine. Yeah.
There we go.
How did we manage to make the greatest movie ever made, Scott?
Historical research.
We are just like Icarus. We did it.
Yep.
We'll never burn. Just like Rome, we'll never fall.
Yes, indeed.
We flew right up next to the sun and we fucking high-fived it, dude. We fucking kicked that sun right in the face. We kicked the sun right in the dick and it flew across the sky. We did it. We'll never lose. We always win. We're the greatest writers in history. Fuck everyone.
Serena.
We're the best.
Yes. Just like all the great empires before us, we will never, ever, ever, ever fall.
Yeah, never. We'll never end this show. Ever. We're definitely not going to turn this show into a different show in like a week or two. I'm serious, though. Do you want to change the name of the show?
I mean, it does sound like we kind of have to.
Yeah, well, because they stole our fucking name. They stole our name.
I mean, is it a new podcast?
And did we just going to rename it?
Yeah.
Do I have to redo the intro? Or is it just like season 2? It's a different name.
Yeah.
What do you do when you change the name on a podcast? Do you just keep the old one there?
You can probably update the name.
Because we could go back and re-edit all of them and change the name.
Right, yeah.
Should I do that, or should I just say fuck it and just keep the old one?
Probably wouldn't hurt to redo it, yeah.
Again? Fuck. What's a good name, then? We got 20 minutes to kill.
This
This is the first time a podcast will ever rename itself on a podcast. We don't just write romance stories that break the lines of reality and fiction and blur the lines between action, adventure, and romance. By the way, we still wrote an action adventure. I just want you to know that.
Yeah.
We will never stop writing action adventures.
We like action adventure.
Fucking, we like adventure. We're adventure boys, okay?
Yeah.
I was gonna call the show Adventure Time, but I was like, I think somebody else has that name. What do you want to call the show? I never asked you. I just named it because I came up with an idea for some questions that might help writing, and I was like, ooh, that should be the name of the show. Show how fucking cool I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at my cool name. I came up with it. 7 questions. You know, hey, it's 7. It's my writing thing. Fuck Dan Harmon. Yeah. You think you can make a story circle? Well, fuck your circle. I got a line, bitch. 7 points on it. Anyway, what are we gonna do? I have a bulleted list. Fuck you. I can't stretch enough. Fuck Dan Harmon.
Yeah.
3 weeks earlier is cool, okay? I don't care if you don't like it on Rick and Morty. It's cool. It's a cool thing to do, and you don't have to start a story where it starts. You can start a story anywhere.
Right.
You can start a story at the end. You can start a story at the beginning. You can make a story go backwards. Everybody watch Memento.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You can make a movie about a guy eating a sandwich.
Yeah.
Okay? Dan with his fucking rigid structure. All writing is asking questions. That's why I put questions in the title of this show. You just ask a bunch of questions, and then you have a movie. That's it. That's all it is. I asked you, what's the opposite of our show? And then you said, Byzantine Romance, the greatest story ever told. And then we had a movie. That's exactly what happened in the last 2 hours. Podcast will be 5 minutes. But yeah, seriously, what do you think we should call it? It's got to have questions in it, maybe? I don't know. Writing?
Question to epic?
Question to epic is pretty good. What we need a title that when you look at it, you immediately know what the show is. It already sounds like it was already a thing. It sounds intriguing. It sounds sexy and exciting. And it seems like it would be cool to listen to for about an hour to like 2 hours. Probably more on the 2 hour end.
Right.
So, I don't think we've ever broken an hour, actually. Or 2 hours. Let me see. What's the longest episode of this show? Because if we'd never passed an hour, we could call it the blank hour, and it would work. No, we did. Let's see. 51 minutes, 36 minutes, hour and 15, hour. I was in the middle of Salem 29, so how long is that? That's hour and 5, hour and 26. So yeah, we never, it's the length of a movie. We never go over 90 minutes.
Okay.
So what do we call it? We write a movie in the length of a movie. That's basically what we do. We ask a bunch of questions. We write. Also, a second question about the show. Am I going to add Talking to No One to this show or not? Should it be a separate show? Do you want this show to just be me and you? No one else. Just us. Because I'm willing to do that if you're willing to keep coming forever. Like, if you're down to do this once a month for as long as we can, and if you can't do it once a month, doubling up. Like, doing 2 episodes in a month or something.
Right.
Like, if you think you could keep showing up, I'm down to keep this show separate.
Suppose.
I mean, now that I figured out that D&Me, plus the thing about D&Me is going to be live every week. So that means there's going to be 4 episodes a month that get done. So there's no way that it's going to be on this channel, because, like, then it wouldn't make any sense. If it's a different show every week, why the fuck, it doesn't work.
Right.
Okay. So yeah, we're keeping them separate, but should we change the name of the show? Or are you cool with keeping 7 questions and just say, fuck the guys on top? We're 7 questions, bitch. Let me look up the other 7 questions and figure out what the fuck it's actually about. Right now, in my podcast app, 7 questions. You're listening to 7 Questions, a podcast game where I ask world leaders and people I find fascinating 7 questions that they choose from a box. Questions are randomly chosen and are not rehearsed. Motherfucker, that's a good idea. Why wasn't that our show, Scott? Why didn't you give me that idea, Scott? Damn it, they're 39 episodes in. They've been going weekly. But no, they haven't posted since 2020. Are they done? Is the podcast over?
No idea.
Let's see. January, February. 2 episodes in February. No, 3, 4. Yeah, it was weekly. And it stopped in March. This motherfucker started a show, stole my name, and then stopped making it.
I doubt he stole your name.
No, he didn't. It was years. I'm just joking.
Right.
There's another one called 7 Questions by Jason White. He did 8 episodes. And I think he talks about video games or something. There are no other 7 Question shows, though. Nope, 7 Questions Peterborough. Also over after 2 seasons. For the record, we show up on, if I go to full screen, we show up on the 3rd, section down on podcasts. We're the 13th podcast on the list when you search 7 questions.
Interesting.
Which, I mean, it's not bad. There's a show called The 7 Big Questions, and that's like 80th. So,
Yeah.
do we need to change the name?
Maybe not. Like, if there's already like so many people, like so many other podcasts.
Yeah. I mean, there's 2 other ones, but they're not on anymore.
Right.
And I don't see any other show called 7 Questions. There's one called 36 Questions, 7 Photography Questions, 17 Questions. There's 2 different shows called 36 Questions. What the fuck? That's so specific. And then there's us. So, I mean, I guess this is a moot point then. Are we keeping the name then?
Yes.
7 Questions, 100 years. Do you like the name? Do you want to change it?
It's fine. It's simple.
Yeah. When you don't tell your friends that you're on this show, do you say, hey, 7 Questions?
Yeah.
But yeah, we wrote a good movie.
Yeah.
It's a good fucking movie. Goddamn. All right. Well, that's the show, everybody. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye-bye.